All right, if you think you're tripping out, you're not. This is just an unboxing, right, Scott? So why the psychedelic, crazy lighting on this container that has a sewing machine in it? Because this is the first sewing machine that I've gotten since I've been doing this that is from the great state of Wyoming. Wyoming! So that deserves a little special recognition. All right, let me get the rest of the lights on so that you don't go blind. All right, I'm not going to tell you what the machine is. I'll just tell you that it is from Eric and Margaret, who are from Mountain View, Wyoming. Boy, that sounds pretty, doesn't it? They come up with names like that, Mountain View, Wyoming, and you're not expecting to get out there and see flat country. You know what I mean? It's got to be some just beautiful, beautiful territory. So let's get cracking on this. And we'll see what Eric and Margaret from Mountain View, Wyoming sent to the workshop. Looks like I'll need another container. Oh gosh, that's funny. I'm not a big karma person, but whenever I see a container like this that's kind of packed out with packing peanuts, I'm like, okay, it's payback time. And I wouldn't be overly critical, but I'll just say that when you use packing peanuts, you want to make sure that that container is filled all the way to the lid, just so that you can reduce the possibility of that sewing machine shifting or being jostled around as that container is presumably going to be mishandled. This one came by UPS, but whether it's UPS or FedEx or USPS, let's just, like I joked the other day when I showed the fragile stickers, they don't pay any attention to that. They're so busy, they're running around with their heads cut off, trying to get all those things processed and moved on to the next point, that we've got to take those steps to ensure that we do everything to protect our vintage machines and treat them as fragile, because other folks, they won't pay any attention to that. So that's the only thing I noticed, coming out. And along with the strapping to hold the lid on, I probably would have made that just a little bit more rugged to hold that top on, so it didn't potentially come off. But all in all, not bad. And Eric had asked about packing, and I can see already that he's applied some of the principles using the exterior tote as a barrier, kind of a outside shell to protect everything else that we've done on the inside of the container. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Let me go ahead and get another container to get some of these peanuts picked up. In the meantime, I'll put on some more, and when I did a search, when I think of Wyoming, and this is not meant as any prejudice or prejudgment or anything like that, but I've been out in Wyoming. I've been out in the Cheyenne, the Sundance, Wyoming area, and it's just beautiful open country. And that's what I think of immediately when I hear the name Wyoming. I think of just beautiful open country, a wide variety of terrains. I mean, you've got hills, you've got mountains, you've got flatland. It's just gorgeous area out there. So I picked country music to go with this particular unboxing for Eric and Margaret's special machine that they sent to me from Mountain View, Wyoming. I almost feel like the program Hee Haw, where I say something like Mountain View, Wyoming, and everyone else goes wahoo or something like that. So let's try it again. Mountain View, Wyoming. I don't know if you did it or not, but I'm just going to take you on your word that you're a team player. And when I said Mountain View, Wyoming, you jumped in right away and go wahoo. All right, let's just go on. Let's go on faith. All right. Another song to keep us going. Here we go. Yeah, talk about a paradox. I'm using a tote to put peanuts from another tote. So this must be our foot controller right here. And again, if I get closer to the camera, let me encourage you that if you send your foot controller to stretch wrap it, like I talked about in a recent premiere, and then put at least 3 layers or so of a bubble wrap around it. Here we have a single layer, so it's really not protected as well as I'd like to see it protected. So I'm going to set this to the side and get some of those peanuts that are kind of work their way into the foot control, and that's part of the reason. Again, you want to kind of stretch wrap it and seal it off, just so you don't get stuff jammed in there and you get dust and everything else from the peanuts in there. So, all right, set that to the side, and we're going to keep on plugging here. All right, I think that's enough for now to get us to the next step. I'm going to keep this nearby though, just in case. So here again, I'll kind of show you a look inside of the container. Looks like we got some good barrier protection, but again, look at how it's loosey-goosey. When you put that bubble wrap around your machine and you ship it to the workshop, strap that down with stretch wrap, and then reinforce that with strapping tape so that you can create a single unit. Right now, it's not a single unit. These layers of bubble wrap that are wrapped around this machine are just floating. So it's not going to afford the level of protection that you'll want when you ship that machine to the workshop. Okay? So everything else is looking good. I think Eric did a real good job. I don't know if Eric did it or Margaret. But so far, a decent job. Just a little bit of tweaking to do on some of the packing principles that I've taught you as far as my process. All right, let's continue to go. First of all, I'm going to put some more music on because this one's wrapping up. A lot of good layering on here as far as the bubble wrap, but again, just if you ship your machine, make sure you strap it down. Strap it down with stretch wrap and strapping tape, like I showed you on that recent premiere when I sent Tammy Cooper's machine back to Ohio. I'm starting to feel the machine a little bit now, so I'm getting close. I'll show you, other than not stretch wrapping it and making it a single unit, look at the layering that Eric and Margaret did in shipping this machine. That's a fabulous job. That's someone that says, I don't care if I spend a little bit more on the bubble wrap, I want to protect this machine. This particular machine, if I remember correctly, belongs to Eric's grandmother. This was Eric's grandmother's machine. I don't know if she's still walking the earth, but it either was or is Eric's grandmother's machine. So a lot of sentimental value, a lot of family ties to this machine. I'm going to eventually find this machine in here. I know it's in here somewhere. All right, I'll show you. We're starting to catch a glimpse of it now. See it way down in there? Looks like we have some good padding on the bottom too, so that's really good. That tends to be the area that people neglect, is protecting the bottom of the machine. I can see it's a Singer. Hoping we didn't get a damaged lid here. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, it looks like the lid got banged around a little bit in transit. Hopefully it didn't snap off. Oh, yep, it came off. It looks like maybe there was an issue with it already, because Eric and Margaret, it looks like they tied it on with some string. And there it goes. Checking to see if there's any sign of any other. I'll check this more carefully after, but and on this design, this is a 501. that faceplate is not going to stay closed unless that lid is attached properly. So you can see we've got our string right here. I'll kind of zoom in on this. So there must be an issue with that lid. And those hinges are pretty delicate, so it may have gotten snapped off. We'll look at this first. Yeah, that looks like it's, and it didn't sustain damage coming here. It looks like it was something that they already knew about, that it was going to come off, and so yeah, they decided to tie it on with a piece of string, and it made it here. It just came off as I was removing it from the packing material. So now we'll take a look. We'll have to turn the machine around to get a closer look, but you can kind of see the juryman's solution there to keep a lid on is a piece of string, and you know what? That's not a bad solution at all. That's not a bad solution in the least. All right, so let me do this. I'm going to go ahead and take that string off to begin with, and then we'll take a closer look at this 501. I think it's a 501A as I'm looking at it. And I believe when we did our, gosh, it's been a long time ago. Take a look real quick, see if I can. You remember when I did the phone interview with Frank Wilson, the gentleman out of Greenwood, South Carolina? And Frank was the one that worked originally for the Singer Sewing Machine Company, and he toured some of the plants where the Singers were being made, and he had his own sewing business in Greenwood, South Carolina for, I don't remember, 20 to 30 years, and now he's retired. But I believe if you go back and you watch that premiere where I interviewed him, fascinating interview. If you've never heard that interview with Frank Wilson, the gentleman that worked for Singer, you'll want to search it out on the channel because it is fabulous. Really a fabulous interview that I did with him. A man with so much experience in our vintage space. It just blows your mind when you hear some of the stories that he shares in that. So you definitely want to check that out. But my point is this. I believe when I asked him the question, you know, with all the experience that he had with Singer, working directly with them, touring the factories, having his own sewing business where he repaired a lot of different machines, including Singer's. Did he have a favorite machine? I believe he said the 501. So you go back and watch that and then let me know if my recollection is correct. But I'm pretty sure he said the 501. I don't remember it was the 501A, but he said the 501 for sure. 99.9% sure. So yeah, this got banged around a little bit. It looks like on, I'm going to zoom in right here. It looks like the lineup of this top cap that goes on top of this 501A has been banged out of alignment a little bit. Yeah, there may be something bent. Maybe something bent on the inside, or it may be simply that I need to loosen the screws and then realign them again. But we'll have to check it out because the screws are tight right now. The lid isn't wiggling around. Nice and snug, and you can see this lid should be flush with that, just like it is on the other side, and it's not. So that could be evidence of some damage, and I'm feeling on the back as well where it doesn't feel like it's completely lined up. Oh, there we go. There we go. Ha! Look at that, how amazing I am. It was snug, and I just popped it right back into place. So, yay! That's good news. That's good news. I was hoping that it wasn't anything serious, but you just never know, because this is obviously an aluminum machine, and aluminum is quite a bit lighter, and it doesn't tend to be quite as sturdy. But all in all, this is looking like a machine that has a lot of potential. A lot of potential, and I agree with Frank. I think it is a fabulous machine. Why don't we do this? I'm going to put on a little bit more Music. I don't know what we got there. Somebody spilled a cup of coffee on this poor machine or something. Something sticky and gooey and ooey over there towards the back. And it's actually over here by the... Yep, it's all over the presser foot too. So whatever got spilled, I don't know if it's Wyoming coffee or something else, but that'll be a little bit of the fun cleanup. And again, if you brought a machine like this in for a service, this machine is coming in for a service. From what I was told by Eric, this machine is running fine. It's been his grandmother's machine. It's been in the family. It's a good running machine. So, you know, if you brought it in just to get it serviced at a local sewing center, they wouldn't pay any attention at all to this kind of stuff. They just wouldn't give a hoot. You know, see our presser foot bar and our needle bar and all that, you got all that gunk and varnishing and yucky stuff on there. That would still be there when you pick the machine up. They would do a 40 to 45 minute service on it, which probably would be pressurized air to blow it out, and then they would oil different points. They would do a general sew off to check hook timing, and that would be about it. But I'll tell you one thing, when you see this machine eventually premiered, it's going to be, and I'll just say it again, and any of you that are former military, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Eric and Margaret's machine is going to be standing tall, looking good, ought to be, what? In Hollywood. Yeah! All right, let me get a little bit of music on. We'll come off the tripod and we'll take a closer look at Eric's grandmother's machine. And then we'll kind of wrap up this unboxing of this 501A. All right, here we go. What do you think, Dr. Singer? Yeah, I agree. I think it's got potential. I think it's got potential. All right, let me zoom out. No, this one's broken. These are really cool on the 501, and it's certainly on a couple of the other ones. It's on the Rocketeer, which is a 503, I believe, if my recollection is correct. And it's got these pop-up spool pins where when the lid is on top and you open the lid, they pop up. This one's doing a great job. This one is not as happy. And I won't spend a lot of time on that because it's still going to do its job. But I'll see if I can tweak that a little bit and get that doing a better job. And there's where the cams are going to go. I don't see any cams that came with the machine, so we may not do any cam generated stitches with this one. Although I'm sure in my huge personal collection I probably have some cams. And here's kind of our hidden clutch right here on this 501A. Is you just turn that towards you. I can't do it with one hand because I'm holding the camera, but you just turn that towards you and that disengages the clutch, so you're able to wind a bobbin with this machine. So let's just go around the machine a little bit. First of all, I will, there we go, put a little bit more on. And these lids are fascinating to me. You take a look at the lid. Some of them even have no, I'm thinking of the Facebook, or the Facebook. Oh gosh, face plate cover has threading directions as well, but you see they break it out between primary patterns. All kinds of great quick reference information on here where you can see the way this lid is set up. Looks like we're missing a pin on that side. But all kinds of good information that's at your fingertips by just popping the lid open, that's real smart on Singer's part. Oh yeah, there's our threading. See our threading inside of the faceplate? I'll kind of zoom in a little bit. So if all of a sudden you get kind of a brain fart and you go, I don't remember how to thread this thing, there's the upper threading right there inside of the faceplate. And then inside of the faceplate as well, you can see we've got a quick adjustment for presser foot pressure, this right here. So some of the makers, you know, the Husqvarnas have that inside of the faceplate. Also on some of the Singer models as well, they decided not to put it on top because they wanted the nicer streamlined lines of the machine, and they wanted it to be a little bit smoother and sexier. So they tucked the presser foot adjustment inside of the faceplate area itself. And I think that makes a whole lot of sense, especially because in this time period they were competing a lot with the Necchi machines coming from Italy, and Necchis always were focused on making that machine super sexy and real nice lines on it. So Singer kind of followed in suit, and they decided to make some adjustments on some of these 500 series machines. Beautiful emblem on the faceplate there. I think that looks gorgeous. Kind of zoom in on it. Looking around the back of the machine as well. Yeah, I don't know what that is yet. I'll figure it out. Feels kind of sticky and gummy. Something got spilled on this machine, I would assume. And there's one of those ugly stickers, at least this particular sticker, which looks like it's out of Utah. I'll kind of zoom in on it. But again, that's right on the pillar, for goodness sakes. If you have a sewing business and you want to remind the customer about your business, so they'll come back again and they'll buy your services again, then do something like deliver great customer service. Invest more time in their machine. Show that you care. You don't need to stick one of these ugly metallic sewing center stickers on the body of their machine as a reminder of who you are, because they're probably not going to remember you for the right reasons if you do that. So I'll work on trying to get that sticker off. I'm sure that Eric and Margaret don't have any sentimental attachments to that sticker. I can't imagine that they would. And you'll see if you look at some of the other videos of the 500 series Singers on my YouTube channel, you'll see this cool feature where in most instances you're dropping the feed dogs, right? Here on the 500 series machines, you're raising the throat plate so that when you move this lever, it actually causes that throat plate to pop up so that those feed dogs are disengaged. I think that is just an awesome feature. And then you just move that lever back and that locks back down again, so that you've got, and that's a little sticky right now. It's not moving super well. And that's no surprise. Look at all that junk on the that same stuff on the presser foot that's on other parts of the machine, and that's all probably gotten kind of spilled and leaked into there, and it's gumming that up. But the concept is the same. You move that lever and they go back down, and I just think that's such a neat feature. All right, let's just peek around the other edge, and you can see we've got some deep cleaning opportunities. Kind of look down in there. I don't see anything jumping out, so that's good. And I think on this 501A, they do a spectacular job of making it real easy to read that stitch length layout. That's just fabulous. Really, really fabulous. Stitch width up there. There's some of our specialty cam settings and all of that. Some of which we'll be able to do because some of these are built in. Others we won't be able to do because they're going to be cam generated. And again, it looks like there's no cams that Eric sent along with this, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm not a big fancy stitch guy anyway, you know that by now. So all in all, I think Eric and Margaret did a super job of trying to protect this fabulous machine that belonged to Eric's grandmother. And this will be a fun one to get on the workbench soon enough and be able to get it back the way it should be. And okay. I'm just taking a little closer look now at that foot controller that I talked to you about. And this is not an original foot controller. This is a Mercury style foot controller, and it must have been wired up to go with this machine. The original foot controller may have been lost. It may have been lost, or it may have been damaged. But these foot controllers that Mercury put out are usually rated at about 1.2 amps, and this 501A is not going to come anywhere close to that. It might peak at 0.8 on a good day after I get done with it. So this has been an unboxing. Again, I opened it up with a little bit of a specialty type thing because it's the very first machine since I've been doing this that came from the great state of Wyoming. So I think that's just really cool. And if I get other machines that come in from other states that I haven't had before, I'll try to remember to do something special at the intro to make that point. Then you never know. Maybe someone else from that same state is going to be like, hey, okay, I'll send my machine in too, which would be totally awesome. So, at any rate, I will continue to plug on the other machines, and eventually you'll see Eric and Margaret's 501A pop up on the Facebook page first as I begin my process of going through it. And then, as always, my goal will be to do a premiere after that to show this machine off. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. So, God bless. Stay tuned for other great videos. It's been a busy week of unboxings. You may have seen that other premiere with the unboxing of the 1885 Singer 12K that came out of England. If you didn't see that one, you want to check it out. That's an unboxing, and then this unboxing as well. So we are unboxy this week. So that wasn't horribly funny, but at any rate, God bless, folks. Stay tuned for other great videos like this. I really feel like I should end with some music, don't you? Yeah, let's end with some music. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm looking. Okay, I thought this was going to be peppy, but you know, that's okay. All right, there we go. Take care, folks.